With 2.5 million square kilometers, the Mediterranean Sea has a smaller surface area than Kazakhstan. And although its size is not exorbitant, it is a fact that it is one of the most important seas in history, as it connects three diverse worlds with each other since time immemorial. In fact, one could say that the struggle for control of this geographical space defined world history. Have you ever been able to analyze what's in the Mediterranean and what makes it so special? To find out, stay until the end of the video. But before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as we will be uploading 3 videos a week and you won't miss them. What is the Mediterranean? As always, let's look at some generalities. By definition, the Mediterranean is part of the Atlantic Ocean and is connected to it through the Strait of Gibraltar. By extension, it is the second largest inland sea, only behind the Caribbean. Its waters bathe the 3 major peninsulas of Europe, Iberian Italy, and Balkan, as well as North Africa and the Anatolian Peninsula in Asia. From the latter, it connects with the Black Sea through the Straits of Bosporus and Dardanelles, as well as the Red Sea through the Suez Canal. 23 sovereign countries have coasts on this sea, whose name comes from the Latin Mediterranean Sea, meaning sea in the middle of the lands, which is why the word is used today for countries that have no access to the sea. Although other cultures such as the Egyptians or Turks and Caicos Islands had their own names. And speaking of cultures, it turns out that the Mediterranean has been the birthplace of a great diversity of peoples on 3 continents. The ancient Egyptians were among the first to sail its waters, followed by peoples who prevailed from the Fertile Crescent and settled on the eastern coasts, such as the Phoenicians, who mobilized to the point of founding colonies in North Africa and southern Europe, and whose legacy to humanity is embodied in their alphabet. In the Old Continent, the Greeks gave birth to Western civilization after the foundation of a series of city-states, states that have given so much to humanity. As you may know, the cultural successors of the Greeks are the Romans, who by the 3rd century BC were disputing the status of Mediterranean power with Carthage, a civilization descended from the Phoenicians that established its power center in present-day Tunisia. And it is here when the Mediterranean becomes a geographical space that would define universal history, because in a desire for control over this sea through which so much trade flowed, it leads to the well-known Punic Wars, which you can see in more detail in this video, and after which the Carthaginians are decisively defeated. The Romans then call the Mediterranean as Mare Nostrum, referring to the fact that they became the hegemonic power of the region for 5 centuries. Rome since then has left a cultural, political, linguistic, architectural, legal, and philosophical legacy that continues to this day. The disruption that represented the cultural change between the European coasts and the Asian and African ones in the Mediterranean was the emergence of Islam in the 7th century. With a rapid expansion, the caliphates conquered large territories in the Middle East and North Africa, which resulted in a cultural differentiation in the Mediterranean that continues to this day. Likewise, the loss of total control by the Europeans over the Mediterranean prompted them to venture into new conquests. Since the end of the 15th century, the Spaniards crossed the Atlantic to reach America, and the Portugal discovered a route to India via the Cape of Good Hope, which made the Mediterranean lose some relevance. However, the aforementioned historical legacy of this sea will never be forgotten. And now that we have briefly seen the geopolitical importance of the Mediterranean throughout history, it would be good for us to answer the question, what is in the Mediterranean? As already mentioned, 23 sovereign countries have coasts on this sea. But what concerns us is the large number of islands and territories that lie here. In total, almost 180 island territories are estimated around the Mediterranean, so we will mention the most important and curious ones. To start, we have two island countries in the Mediterranean that are part of the European Union. On one hand, we have the Republic of Malta, which is made up of two main islands, the island of Malta itself and the island of Gozo. As you may know, this country was once possessed by the Hospitaller Knights, now known as the Order of Malta. Having been conquered in the 9th century by the Arabian Peninsula, a tremendous influence was left that is reflected in the modern Maltese language, the only language of the European Union of Semitic origin with a wide similarity to modern Arabic. As for the other sovereign state in the Mediterranean, it is the well-known Republic of Cyprus, which in fact does not control all the territory of the small island of 9,200 km². It turns out that part of the territory is controlled by the Turkish Republic of Northern Republic of Cyprus, a de facto independent state that has the support of Republic of Turkey and declared its independence in 1983. Likewise, as a legacy of its colonial past, there are two British military bases over which the United Kingdom still has sovereignty, known as Akrotiri and Dhekelia. Yes, despite its modest size, the sovereignty of the island of Republic of Cyprus is shared by three entities. Now let's move on to the most important dependent islands in the Mediterranean, starting with two Italy islands and the largest in the Mediterranean, Sicily and Sardinia. The first of these has a very long history that includes occupations by Sicani Cycles, Greeks Carthaginians, Romans Vandals, Arabian Peninsula, Normans, and finally Italy's. And of course, a large number of states had sovereignty over this island. Sardinia is the second largest island in the Mediterranean. Sicily is characterized by something, is that after unifying with Piedmont, the homonymous kingdom is formed, which was the axis of Italy unification. Yes, something like Germany for Germany. Likewise, the Sardinian language, which is native to the island, is considered the closest living language to extinct Latin. The next largest island in size is Corsica, known for being the birthplace of the famous Napoleon Bonaparte, who coincidentally was born the same year the island ceased to be an independent republic after being annexed by France. Its language, Corsican, is also a symbol of identity, and although there are separatist ideas from France, it is most likely to continue remaining as part of the country. This is followed by the largest of the Greek islands, which are more than 100, so we will only mention the main ones. The largest is Greece, cradle of the Minoan civilization, predecessor of ancient Greece, and which also came under the rule of various groups, such as the Greeks, Romans, Byzantines, Venetians, Ottomans, to finally return under Greek sovereignty. The island of Euboea, which although it seems part of the mainland territory of Greece, is an island. Notice when I zoom in. Then we have the island of Lesbos, closer to Republic of Turkey, and famous for being the homeland of Sappho, the ancient poetess, who wrote about passionate love towards other women, which gives rise to the term lesbianism. Rhodes is the fourth largest Greek island, and the largest of the Dodecanese archipelago. This island is remembered for a series of myths and legends, as well as for having been in ancient times quite devoted to the sun god Helios, which is reflected in the construction of the Colossus of Rhodes, one of the wonders of the ancient world. Another archipelago that stands out is the Ionian Islands, as it was once an independent state. Among them is Ithaca, the homeland of the well-known Odysseus, from the classic The Odyssey. Speaking of other countries, we have the Balearic Islands in Spain, which form one of the autonomous communities of the country, where Catalan is also the official language. Among them, the largest is Majorca, followed by Menorca, and then Ibiza, known for its nightlife. Other countries with islands in the Mediterranean are Croatia, Tunisia, and Republic of Turkey. So out of the 21 continental countries with coasts on the Mediterranean, only 7 have islands. Due to the diversity of countries in this geographical area, another thing that the Mediterranean stands out for is the subdivision into adjacent seas, whose fragmentation usually occurs according to established geopolitical borders. The Alboran Sea between Spain and Morocco, the Alboran Sea to the north of the latter country, the Balearic Sea between the east coast of Iberia and the island of Sardinia, the Ligurian Sea between Corsica and Liguria, Italy. On the other hand, we have the Tyrrhenian Sea between the coast of Sardinia, Sicily and the Italy Peninsula, the Adriatic Sea between the Balkan and Italy coasts, the Ionian Sea between Italy, Greece and Albania, the Aegean Sea between Greece and Republic of Turkey, the Libyan Sea, the Cilician Sea between Republic of Turkey and Republic of Cyprus, and the Levantine Sea, the most eastern, which bathes the coasts of Egypt, Lebanon, Republic of Cyprus, Israel, and Republic of Turkey. As you can see, the Mediterranean Sea is a sea with many territories and stories to tell, a geographical space that often defined the course of history, but that ultimately continues to maintain its timeless essence. A space that commercially and socially connects 13 continents. What other interesting facts do you know about the Mediterranean Sea? See you next time!